Hi, welcome back to Black Eagle Speaks. This is your Hema Chandran called Hema. In our previous videos, we've been discussing on the implications of finance industry for in Indian economy. In our last video, we discussed about insurance industry. Today, we are going to discuss about a very crucial and a critical aspect of insurance industry, that is health insurance. Why health insurance? In the recent past, after COVID-19, there has been a surge, increase in the customers looking in for health insurance. So we thought, you have so many questions to ask or doubts to clarify. We have with us Mr. Ananth Ramakrishnan, Principal Officer and CEO of Ensign Insurance Brokers Private Limited with us. Mr. Ananth Ramakrishnan comes with around 20 years plus experience in the insurance industry. Welcome back, Mr. Ananth, and it's very nice to have you back with us in Black Eagle Speaks.
Thank you, Hema.
As we were discussing, today there is the importance of health insurance is being felt specifically after COVID-19. Now, can you throw some light on that, Ananth?
Yes. See, in the previous episode, we were discussing about types of insurance and other things.
Exactly.
One was the life insurance. The other one was the non-life insurance, which covers the assets and the properties also. When we talk about assets, your health is your biggest asset. Okay. Covering your health is the paramount importance next to life insurance. So what is health insurance? Health insurance is something which covers your unexpected hospitalization due to any reasons, maybe because of illness or because of accident. You never know. One hospitalization episode can put a lot of financial burden in one's financial plan. So just to take care of that, health insurance is available.
Yeah, in fact, during the COVID-19, there were a lot of people who had to really, look at immediate cash to take care of the hospitalization, which was on a sudden. Nobody expected that they would actually get affected with COVID-19. So, and the importance of health insurance was really felt. Now, as a layman, can I ask you this? Okay, though I'm from the insurance industry, I'm talking as a layman. Why should I buy health insurance?
See, health insurance is very important. As I said, one episode of hospitalization can put a lot of burden on your financial planning, basically. It's a very good question, why health insurance? See, till the time we are being there, I'm yet to see somebody who has no episodes of hospitalization whatsoever. Health insurance not only covers your health but also your family's also. So it gives you a lot of benefits, in the event of any unforeseen hospitalization, it's been there.
Okay.
Basically, health insurance provides you that financial support to meet out that exigent situation, that unexpected illness or due to some accidents. COVID-19 is a classic example. Nobody expected that could get so hard, and there were a lot of people who got the benefit of health insurance, and some unfortunate who didn't have insurance had to suffer. And health insurance is something the hospital bills might be different, and it might be used. Depends on the type of illness and number of days of stay in the hospital and type of hospital what you are going to choose. All this is going to decide. So, bottom line is having health insurance is safer, so that you can feel much more secure in case of any unforeseen hospitalization.
Okay. Now that you have said that the importance of the health insurance. Now tell me, Ananth, as a customer, what are all things I should look at before buying a health insurance?
See, health insurance has got a standard template. Basically any insurance which today, any standard insurance policy today available in India covers only inpatient hospitalization.
Okay.
There are certain things which you need to know. Inpatient hospitalization, what I am talking about is your normal cough, cold, fever, or you visit your medical practitioner for fever and come back. The OPD type, the outpatient hospitalization will not be covered in the policy. But if you happen to stay in a hospital for a minimum period of 24 hours,
24 hours.
yes,
Okay.
so only then the policy covers your hospitalization. Of course, there are certain daycare procedures which due to advancement of medical sciences, like
Yeah,
cataract, chemotherapy.
Yeah.
So all these things does not require 24 hours of hospitalization, but still are covered under the policy. They are named as daycare procedures in the health insurance policy. And similarly, like health insurance comes with few waiting periods. Like I'm talking about the standard health insurance policy. There are a few companies who have come out with advanced wordings of health insurance, which they have tried to either minimize the waiting periods or they have covered from day one also. There are products available. But for the better understanding of your viewers, like let's discuss about the standard health insurance policy, which comes with the standard waiting periods. Like namely, like first 30 days, no illness claims will not be paid. So no illness claims will be paid. But for accidental hospitalization, no questions are asked because we all know that is sudden.
It's an
and
accident.
completely unforeseen. Like so, with regard to illness, a lot of questions have to be answered. Like first 30 days, no claims will be paid. There are waiting periods for certain specific diseases for 1 year, and 2 years, and 4 years. Like there are named illnesses. To mention a few, something like cataract, piles, fistula. So all these things have a waiting period of 1 year. So if I take a policy today, in case if I have to undergo a cataract surgery, I will have to wait for a period of 1 year. So similarly, there are a few illnesses like which relates to your ears and throat, nose. So all these things like it has a waiting period of 2 years.
Okay.
And your pre-existing diseases are not covered from day one, but few companies cover it after a waiting period of say 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. It depends on the policy and the plan whatever you choose, and which company is going to offer it.
Okay. Now is that like, how do I really justify how much of health insurance I require?
See, it is a part of the financial plan. So you never know like what type of hospitalization I might encounter.
That's something sudden.
Yes, it's sudden, but again, like I'm taking the example of COVID, like somebody got discharged in say 3 to 4 days time itself. Somebody had to stay in the hospital for almost 15 days to 30 days also. It depends on type of ailment which I'm going to acquire, or in case it affects me so bad and things like. It's definitely not defined, but again, it's a prudent thing. Like in the last episode, also we were talking about financial planning, and you need to do some sort of an exercise. So, a simple thumb rule is like basically like what type of lifestyle are you leading, or what type of hospital you will get admitted in case of any emergencies. Depends on the cost. You have to factor in the medical inflation which is happening every year. So ideally for a person who's in the age bracket or in the salary bracket of around say 5 to 10 lakhs, the minimum sum insured would be at least 10 lakhs.
Okay.
But having said this, better to have some sort of health insurance as a start rather than having nothing. So this is one. But you also have a lot of other plans which we'll be discussing during the course of this discussion. Like there are a lot of plans which will allow you to step up your insurance coverage, the sum insured. There are something called the top-up insurances which are available today in the market. Even somebody can't afford a larger sum insured, they can have this thing like. So your financial planner can help you in terms of structuring your insurance policy better, so that you also get a wider coverage at a cost-effective price.
Now, with your experience, what is your suggestion which could be like, this is something which I advise a minimum sum assured for a health insurance?
See, it depends from person to person. It depends on your requirement, what type of lifestyle you lead, and what type of hospitalization you might have to go. A simple thumb rule is like it's better to have a larger sum insured when you take it. See, there are two things in insurance. Like one is like try to take insurance early so that you get the age advantage on the other side, and second one is go for a larger sum insured, like so that, because see the lifestyle changes, like as you grow up in your career, like start earning more, like your responsibilities are bigger, and your financial burden might pinch you in terms of these unforeseen situations.
Yeah.
So all these things you have to take into account. So if you ask me like minimum sum insured, go for at least 5 lakhs.
Okay.
Because you also have an advantage like every no claim year, no? Like you have the cumulative bonus that gets added up. So some sort of adjustments will be there. But again, it's not a prescription to everyone. So it depends on every individual to devise their own sum insurance.
Okay. Now let's say health insurance. Is it individual or a family? The reason why I ask you is, now yes, as much as I'm the breadwinner and I would like to be covered, I do not want to ignore my family also. It could affect my family also. Is there any way where I can cover my entire family?
Yes, you can. The individual policies are also available where I as an individual can cover only myself,
Yeah.
or I can choose to cover my entire family. Like self, spouse and children can be a part of one single
Can
policy.
parents be included?
Parents cannot be included in my policy. Basically, there is something called as an insurable interest. See, there is a proposer and there is an insurer. So, a parent can propose a child, but a child cannot propose a parent. So, parents can be, I can propose a policy for my parents, but they can't be a part of my family floater policy.
Okay. So you mean to say family floater. Can you just throw some light on a family floater? Let's assume, I'll just give you a typical example. I'll take a policy for 5 lakhs. Okay. It's my wife, my 2 kids and myself. Now 5 lakhs, is it 5 lakhs individually on each head or 5 lakhs as a family? Now if that is the case, okay, I'm the proposer and my family is attached to the policy. If something were to happen to my children, how much can they claim or how does it work?
See, the good thing about insurance is it can be completely customized. Health insurance I'm talking about. See, I can either to take a policy individually, only I am covered, so that is what is an individual policy. But even in a family policy also, you can choose to have independent sum insured for each of the members. Say for example, you, your wife and 2 kids. So each of them can have, say for example, if you're going for a 5 lakh coverage, so each of you can have individual 5 lakh up to 5 lakh of coverage in this policy. Or you can choose to have a floater sum insured. So floater gives you an advantage of cost, one, and the ease of administering the policy. Like in case if I have say 4 family members having all separate policy, the policy commencement dates might be different, and I might miss out in terms of the renewal dates also. So all these complications to avoid that. The floater advantages are like it gives you ease of administering the policy and maintaining the policy very easily, and comes with a lesser cost comparatively to having individual sum insured for each of the family members. Basically because the sum insured is floated across the entire family members. So meaning if you have a say 10 lakh sum insured policy as a family floater covering you, your wife and your 2 children, you alone can use up to 10 lakhs, your wife alone can use up to 10 lakhs, or your kids independently can use up to 10 lakhs, subject to entire family consumption not crossing that sum insured.
Okay.
So
So once the 10 lakhs is over, then there is no more claims.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So, okay, I got the point. Now, when you say this, the same applies like life insurance. As the age increases, the premium also increases, right?
Yes.
So, a person who's in the late 40s or in the early 50s is, premium might be really skyrocketing.
Yes.
Can I pay in installments?
Ideally, see, general insurance is a short-term
Annual.
contract. It's an annual contract. You can pay only in annual mode of premium. There are a few companies who are coming out with smaller duration premium paying options like quarterly and half-yearly. But in short or in general, like health insurance or any general insurance premiums are yearly premiums. So it has to be that way. And a very interesting question you asked, like what is the advantage of opting for insurance in a lean life?
Yeah.
So, one is like it's a very good habit to secure your earnings and your financial dreams. This is point number 1. Unlike life insurance, I wouldn't say that 100% premium saving option will be there if you go a little early or a little late. So it's not that. Because every the premiums in health insurance are buckets. Like, so 0 to 18 years, there is X amount of premium. In the same family also. 19 to 25, 26 to 35, 36 to 45. So it's good that like that 10 years you'll be paying only the smaller premium. So once you cross that age band, like, so from say 25 to 26, there might be a marginal increase. See, because the risk of health or risk of a claim in a health insurance policy increases with age. So obviously you will have to pay a little higher as you grow. But one good thing is like if you have started the policy a little early, all the waiting periods you would have serviced, so that at the time like when you are actually in actual risk of meeting up with any claims or something, the policy do not have any waiting periods or any exclusions by that time. So, but for the normal exclusions, which anyway any of the policies do not cover. So, which we'll talk about it later, like what all it doesn't cover things. And in the meantime, like you also any no claim years, you will have the advantage of the accumulated bonus.
So I do not get my premium back if I don't claim.
There are certain policies, instead of giving cumulative bonus, like increasing your sum insured, they give discounted premiums also.
Okay.
There are variety of plans available in the market.
So now it's not like vanilla policy where it's like, where if I don't claim, it's gone. Now it has come in. That's a good thing, which is, having said that, Mr. Anand, let's say a family of father, mother, and 2 kids is being taken. Now, is this policy cover when there is an illness when a person goes abroad? Or is it only in India he can claim?
Standard health insurance policy in India covers across the country, like pan-India coverage is available normally. But there are few companies which have come out with a plan which covers worldwide cover also.
In the same insurance?
Yes.
Okay. Now, having said that, what are all things when you are mentioning about exclusions? Exclusions are these certain things, exclusion, and you were talking about this pre-existing disease which cannot be claimed. So what is that a person should look at? For example, a person could be a diabetic or a hypertension, okay, or could be any ailment which he would have had it in his young age. So as a customer, now what all questions should I ask about the exclusions part of it?
See, when you talk about a health insurance, like you will have to discuss about the exclusions part, the restrictions part, or the waiting periods part also. So we spoke about the waiting periods, like so the policy gives you better coverage terms as the policy grows older. So there are certain restrictions also, like which an health insurance company files a product with to contain the losses or just to make the losses and nothing. And we spoke about risk retention in the previous episode also. Can be construed that way also. Like the room rent limits. Like every policy comes with some sort of a room rent limits. See, basically one thing we need to understand. Like, okay, let me explain the room rents. Then I talk about the billing pattern of how your Mediclaim bills are printed in the hospitals. See, the room rent limits is basically fixed as a part of sum insured. I am also mentioning like there are few companies today who have done away with that condition. They give you the freedom to choose any type of insurance. See, basically because like, see, the sum insured differentiates like what is the eligibility.
Correct.
So for example, I may choose to have a 1 lakh sum insured or a 10 lakh sum insured or a 1 crore sum insured also. So 1 lakh sum insured, obviously I've opted for a lesser category of the policy terms. So obviously the claims also will be lesser comparatively when compared with somebody who have been paying larger premiums because they wanted a larger cover. So that's understood. Okay. So how do I restrict? Like, so I will give like on a normal hospitalization, you will be allowed say 1% or 2% or 3%, depends on the policy what they have filed with the regulator. So of the sum insured as a per day charge of premium. Okay. So for example, let's say take say 2% of the sum insured has been allowed for normal hospitalization.
Okay.
And you have a 1 lakh sum insured. So obviously I can't go beyond a 2003 rules. Okay. And there are two things, like one is a normal hospitalization, the other one is an ICU hospitalization. So there are mix of this thing, like say 2% and 4%, or 1% and 1.5%, or 1% and 2%. So the policy document defines like what you are eligible for. This is something which you have to keep very strong vigil of. Okay, so I will explain you how it might affect your overall billing process. The second thing is the consumables and others. Like, for example, if somebody is getting admitted for the surgery, the operation theatre equipments like the blades or pads or the rubber gloves. So even
PP kits during the
I was about to mention that in COVID initial stages, PP kits were categorized as consumables. It was not paid. Whereas the cost of PPE kit was almost say 3 to 4,000 rupees per kit, and
correct.
the patient or the treating doctors were using almost 3 to 4. That means in a day we were not paid for almost 10,000 rupees. Then there were recommendations and deliberations going on, and government came with some standards and policies. The regulator stepped in, the insurance companies have taken all the inputs, and then they allowed PPE kits. But that also was a restricted things. Like in a day, I will allow for say 2 PPE kits and 3 PPE kits. See, everything is
Just of the sum assured.
yes, not only to the sum insured, individual companies' decisions also. Some company might say that I will allow say 3 to 4 PPE kits. Some company might say I will allow only 1. So it depends on the type of policy wordings what you are going to take. All these things. Coming to the billing part, like say, for example, if I say that I am eligible for a 2% room rent, my sum insured is 1 lakh, and I am allowed to get admitted in a room for which I pay a charge of around say 2,000 rupees per day.
Okay.
As a layman, what my thoughts would be is, okay, let me get admitted in a 4,000 rupee room. So hardly that 2,000 rupees of difference I will pay out of my pocket. But the medical billing doesn't happen that way. Say probably, for example, we think like you and me are getting admitted in the same hospital for a same ailment. The same set of doctors, same set of nursing staff are all same during the admission in the hospital.
Okay.
And you get admitted in a 4,000 rupee room, I get admitted in a 2,000 rupee room.
Okay.
So the charges of the treating doctor, the specialist or the surgeon, the anesthetist, everything vary from room category, not from for some insurance.
Okay.
So for a 2,000 rupee room, if Dr. A charges say 10,000 rupees as a fee, for a 4,000 rupee room, he might not charge the same 10,000. It may be say 15,000 or 20,000.
Oh,
Yes.
for the same kind of rate.
Yes. So if I have to say that for a ballpark number, like or just a thumb rule saying that, by getting admitted in a 2,000 rupee room, if my overall medical bill for that duration of hospitalization, if it comes to 1 lakh, for a 4,000 rupee room, it might come to say around 1.4, 1.5 lakhs.
Okay.
The difference could be as used as around say 30 to 50%. Normally people think that okay, it's only that room rent restriction, or it's only the cost of room. It's not cost of room. Right? The medical billing or the charges of the consultants depends on the room category, not on the assumption.
Okay. Right. Now you're talking about payment and other stuff. Now, about something which is very, I want some very good light to be thrown on it is about the payment. Now, many people talk about something called cashless payment or cashless treatment. What exactly is this cashless treatment, or what are all the kinds of way it can be claimed? Or like I need to pay the bill first and then claim it, or I just walk in and this cashless treatment. Can you just throw a light as a layman to understand?
See, cashless is nothing but it's an agreement between the hospital and the third party administrator. I'm using the word TPA, the third party administrator. See, in our previous episode also we were talking about the types of distribution channels.
Correct.
Like agents, brokers, surveyors and TPAs. TPAs are the people who help the insurance companies in terms of managing the claims. They process the claims basically. There are some insurance companies who have got their in-house TPAs also. There are some companies which use the expertise of external TPAs also. There are a lot of TPAs who work. The main responsibility or the job of a TPA is to ensure that they sign agreements with the hospital, bring them into their network. So when the hospital is getting a patient, okay, and say I get admitted in some hospital there, first thing I have to check, like, say I will have a health card for the policy I've taken. In the health card, either the name of the company will be there if the company has an in-house third-party administrator, or an external TPA. That TPA's contact details will be there, name, contact details will be there. All I need to first check is with the hospital, if that hospital is a part of that TPA's network.
Okay.
See, that might say, for example, there are two TPAs, okay, TPA A and TPA B, okay. Same hospital, he might be a part of the network in TPA A, he might not be a part of TPA B. The reason for the hospital being in the network or not being in network, you have a lot of reasons. The agreements, they might have some disconnect in terms of framing that agreements, or the costing I might not agree, you might agree, I might not agree. So it depends on a lot of other condition clauses, or the payment to the hospital from the TPA. So everything, like all these things depends. But broadly, like assuming that you are in my network and I am supposed to process your claims. So if I am in a network, obviously I don't mind giving you a cashless. The first point of the agreement between the TPA, it's basically a tri-party agreement.
Okay.
The insurance company, TPA and the hospital will be there. So the hospital will submit like on a variety of ailments, what could be their charges, and the hospitals are categorized into category A, B, C, depending on the town, depending on the size of the hospital, the facilities what they have, the infrastructure what they built. So it depends, the costing, everything depends. And there is an agreement for the cost between the hospital and the TPA, and everything agrees. And the TPA, the hospital agrees to treat a patient who comes from the network of the TPA.
Okay.
Okay. So that agreement, if it is signed, then obviously you get the cashless.
Cashless.
It's much more easier for an insured to avail cashless than go for reimbursement. Both have the same impact. It's not that in cashless you get paid more, in reimbursement you get paid less.
But
or vice
just,
versa.
at that point of time you may not have cash.
Yes. So even if I have cash, like why should I pay and take a reimbursement after 1 week, 10 days and other things? If there is a mechanism, well and good, like somebody agrees to pay or take care of my hospitalization without me paying anything, only the non-admissible charges I have to pay. So that's well and good, right?
Okay, now is that like, I take up health insurance, I get tax benefit also, right?
Yes, you get tax benefit under section 80D. As an individual you get up to 25,000 and for senior citizens you get up to 50%.
Oh, great, that's something.
That's so over and above your ATC.
ATC limits. Okay, now before taking up health insurance, should I necessarily take a medical checkup?
Maybe yes, it depends on the company's underwriting guidelines. But today in common, most of the companies are not asking for a medical checkup for accepting a risk up to an age of 50. Beyond 50, yes, depends on this thing. Even for insureds lesser than 50 years of age, if you have any pre-existing conditions, then once it has been declared in the proposal, which you have to, based on that, the underwriter might ask you to go for a medicals and clear their doubts so before accepting the policy.
Okay. Finally, you were talking about something called top-up.
See, top-up is an evolution, sort of like it's been very famous now, and this thing. There are two things. One is a top-up policy, the other one is a super top-up policy. Also. The difference is very, very marginal. See, top-up policy gives you an advantage of going for a higher sum insured at a much, much lower cost. Okay, so it works on the layering sort of. Say, for example, see, I have taken a health insurance somewhere around 15 years back. I've been servicing that policy. See, during those days, like I thought my requirement would be not more than 5 lakhs. So I had taken a 5 lakh policy. But today, 5 lakh policy is not going to be sufficient. So if I have to go for a fresh underwriting and other things like, I might have to pay much higher. So I might also lose the benefits of what my policy has accumulated over a period of time. So that is one. I need not wait for that also. Even at this point of time also, when somebody goes for a new policy also, they can also structure it accordingly. Basically, the primary policy covers you to the sum insured whatever you are taking, say 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs or 25 lakhs, whatever you feel that should be sufficient for you. But in case at the back of your mind, you might say that, okay, will this 10 lakhs or will this 25 lakhs of policy be sufficient for you? Because this is something like which you are going to take it for your life. So throughout, like, and you are going to keep servicing it. So who knows, like after 10 years, the cost of medical treatments it could be really abnormal also. You never know. So at that point of time, going for a fresh policy may not be suitable for everyone, but for some it might be. So in such case, like you can opt for a top-up policy. I'll tell you how it works. Say for example, if I have a 10 lakh policy, that primary policy will cover up to a hospital expense of up to 10 lakhs, whatever it may be, due to accident or illness.
Okay.
Okay, based on the policy conditions. Okay. And in case like if there is a claim, so COVID is a classic example. I have supported many of my clients where the hospitalization bills went beyond say 14, 15 lakhs.
15 lakhs.
Okay. In such case, like your policy exhausts and whatever additional amount you will not be able to claim. So in such case, top-up policy comes for it. So top-up policy works on a principle called there is a deductible. Say if your basic sum insured is say 10 lakhs, I will say I will go for a top-up policy on which I will not claim any amount up to 10 lakhs. So because of that, the cost of that policy is very, very low. Because the insurance company knows that if at all the claim comes above that limit of say 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs, whatever excess limit I'm going to fix, only then the claim is getting admitted. Okay, so if the probability of me meeting with a hospitalization is say 10%, the probability of meeting with the hospitalization in which the medical claim can go beyond the full sum insured is 0.1, 0.2 or 0.5%.
Correct.
So probability is very, very less. So that's the premium advantage what the client takes. So what we generally suggest our clients is that like go for a policy, say 10 lakhs or 25 lakhs for a decent sum insured, and then also parallelly take a top-up insurance with a higher deductible. So you are protected and you are protected fully also.
Right.
And I was talking about top-up and super top-up. Top-up policy covers any claim above that sum insured, but that has to be a single claim. Super top-up policy covers multiple claims also.
Oh, great.
So for example, if I have a sum insured of 10 lakhs, only if my single hospitalization bill crosses 10 lakhs, the top-up policy will pay. Super top-up, I might have multiple hospitalizations in a year. In case, say first claim might be say 5 lakhs, second claims might be say 4 lakhs. So in the base policy I only have 1 lakh. If the third claim is say 2 lakhs, so I will get that 1 lakh in the base policy and the balance leftover excess of that.
Now, can this be also applicable for a family floater?
Yes, it can.
That's great. That's great.
It can.
Thank you, Anant. I think you have thrown a real great light. In fact, I think our viewers will be really happy to, know the complete detail before taking up a health insurance. Because health insurance is something very, very important, and going forward, each and every person is expected to have a health insurance. So, with your inputs, now when a customer takes, he will ask this agent or anybody who's representing the company with all these details, and he will take the right policy for themselves. So, thank you, viewers, and hope this was very informative. Request you to please subscribe, like it, and share it. And meet you in our next episode. Thank you. Jai Hind.